So that will probably lead into something else, won't it, Gaz?
I think it should lead into Gaz's snippets. Smooth. God,
Yeah,
so smooth.
just like we know what we're doing.
My first snippet is actually Tim Cook waves the checkered flag at Formula One Grand Prix. I'm going to move swiftly on from that because I think you've heard my views. Apparently, Bono has written a memoir that reveals the story behind the free U2 album debacle and the U2 iPod. Now, I've done a little bit of investigation into this, and apparently U2 kind of said it was kind of a semi-agreement. It wasn't really Apple's fault. It was kind of U2's fault for kind of, or Bono's fault for saying, well, why don't you do this? That would be a good idea. And it kind of backfired on both of them, really, as we all know.
A little bit.
But if you do a bit of digging, you'll find articles on that, and there's a bit of a chat with Bono on it, and it's quite interesting. But we're past that now, aren't we? Apple apparently is raising the price of Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and Apple One. Right, yes. Well, we've talked about that. Apple has released, guess what? Mac OS Ventura. I think we've spoken about that. Might speak a little bit more. Apple has released iPad OS 16. Apple has released iOS 16.1. I think actually 16.2 is going to be out quite soon if it isn't already. Apple has released watchOS 9.1. Apple has released tvOS 16.1. So all of that came out last week. Many of you will know, many of you will have updated.
Or had it update for you.
Or had it update if you got it on automatic for you, which may or may not be a bad thing. It's always best to kind of have a little bit of control over that so you can update the apps that really you need. And especially as I've been using ScreenFlow a lot, I really needed to make sure that was working because I couldn't suddenly not be able to use it to continue doing those videos. Apparently, now I'm not sure, I haven't read into this, but it says Apple expands the SKA ad network features with iOS 16.1 and iPad OS.
Oh, is that the App Store?
Yes.
Advertisements?
Yes. Apple is rolling out a new version to its SK ad network framework for developers. Now, a little bit more on some other stuff like that a little bit later, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you'll be happy to hear. Apple has new App Store rules for NFTs and cryptocurrency. Apple has announced updates to the App Store review guidelines offering guidance for apps offering cryptocurrency and NFTs. Well, unless you're into that, then I'm not sure I'm going to go into them here. Apple has called on its global supply chain to decarbonize by 2030. Or what? We won't use you. We won't use you. Oh, well, perhaps
that'll show you who's going to make your stuff. Oh, well.
Someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there'll be a lot of, it looks a bit draconian, but actually they're probably doing an awful lot of work between the two companies and lots of discussions between all the companies to do that.
Here's the thing. I'm delighted that Apple's trying to push forward with this. However, considering the various countries where they have their stuff manufactured.
Yeah, but you see, now the funny thing is here, Guy, I know where you're going with this, and I tend to agree with you. However, if they don't do anything, that's kind of worse. If they kind of pushing for it, then perhaps the rest of the country might follow.
That's kind of the point. To me, it's almost like posturing for the sake of posturing. Yeah, because maybe if those companies and countries don't go carbon neutral, what's Apple going to do about it?
No, well, we're all screwed anyway. Well, they could move the purchasing of goods elsewhere. Apparently, Apple environmental goals for suppliers will be enforced by audits, Guy. They will be enforced by audits. iPhone 14 Pro...
With suicide nets.
Now. iPhone 14 Pro demand greatly exceeded Apple's expectation, apparently. A study finds that Apple Blood Watch oxygen sensor is as reliable as a medical-grade device. Can I put the counter to that? I've heard that it is accurate and gives you a good trend, but is not as accurate as this is saying. If this article is correct, though, actually, that's a big plus for the Apple Watch. So I hope that it is accurate. I don't want to poo-poo it, but actually, if it's good, then excellent.
Okay.
You're frowning.
I'm frowning because people should not be relying on passive devices like watches to get all of their various medical ailments in line.
And I think I've said this
professional devices.
Absolutely. But actually, as a trend and something you can keep an eye on, which then would indicate that you need to then use proper equipment.
Yeah, just don't think it's going to be like 100%.
Absolutely. Apple has updated iWork apps for iPad OS 16 and Mac OS Ventura with new collaboration feature. Really looking forward to that one. They're about
honestly, this is kind of cool.
It is cool, but
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Let's talk about it later. But I'm going to say here and now, they're about 5 years behind the curve on that one.
So a lot of this stuff,
yeah. And also, I've got a feeling I saw something. Now, I'm not sure whether I kept a news article on this or not, but I thought I saw that you can actually sign up now for iWork. Just sign up with a registration like you can with Microsoft apps, Office apps, and you can use them free online. Just putting that out there. Both Microsoft, if you've got a Microsoft 365 account and it's free to sign up, you can use the apps free online. And interestingly,
I did editing?
That. Yes, absolutely. Because I've done that today. I've done it with the 365 app. Now, it's something which is coming up for the Office app on Apple, I believe. But yeah, it just that you've got to edit online. You can't, you've got to extract it then and download the stuff, but you can't then use the apps offline. But actually, I've used the 365 version today because I'll tell you what, Mac OS and M1 may be great for video, but when you throw a lot of numbers into numbers, it slows it down, Guy. Really? I have found M1's possibly faux pas. It really did. It didn't struggle, but it was. I was noticing that I was going, hang on a minute. I know that Excel would deal with that like this, and numbers was struggling with large numbers of numbers.
Well, have you tried Excel on an M1?
Only online, and it coped with it, and it coped with it perfectly.
Yeah, but that's not really worse. The M1 though. That's because all of the calculating is being done in the cloud.
Fair point. But what I'm saying, but the point I'm making is everybody's roaring and saying how good. Now, okay, let me back up then. These snippets are really going long, aren't they?
A little bit.
Let me back up then. I threw lots of numbers at Excel on an Intel Mac, and it dealt with it. I have thrown lots of numbers to numbers. Why did they call it that? On an M1 Mac, and it struggled. Just putting it out there. If you've got a different experience, let us know. Let me crack on with the snippets because I've gone curveball, haven't I? Apple again accused of being an uncompetitive. Oh, I've got it's my mic's in the way. I can't
words
read
are hard.
No, it's not the words. It's just that my mic's in the way. Being accused of an anti-competitive as it changes NFT rules. So going back to that thing that we did earlier, they're now being accused of being anti-competitive. There was an outage which affected iMessage and FaceTime last week. Don't know if that impacted any of our listeners. A doctor is not a crazy Apple person and recommends life-saving Apple Watch to every patient. The Apple Watch is being credited with the saving of a doctor who fell from the side of his house while power washing. Do you know, I'm not going to say any more on that.
Well, does it work for people that aren't doctors? That's my question.
Dr. Thomas Fischio not only credits the Apple Watch 5 with saving his life, but he also explains why he tells many of his patients they need to wear an Apple Watch. Moving on. Apple devices now support Nintendo's classic game controllers. Greg Wozniak, Apple will have to comply with the EU and switch iPhone to USB-C. Apparently, Craig Federighi and Greg Wozniak were on an interview, and they mentioned this. So perhaps go out and look for that if you want to.
Should have done it with the 13.
Apparently, Craig Federighi says that iMessage and Android would have held them back, them being Apple, in innovating. Okay. I saw this so many times, and it just made me laugh. So I'm going to put it in. Apple reportedly, because it is a rumor, Apple reportedly planning to release a larger 16-inch iPad next year. I bet I think that's going to be. It's going to be expensive.
Well, I mean, for God's sake, a 16-inch iPad, really? Really, 4 inches bigger, or at least 3 inches bigger than the current one, the current big one?
Yeah.
You know, I could honestly see a 14. I could see a 14-inch iPad.
Yeah.
A 16-inch iPad?
Now, it is a rumor. That's why I said it is a rumor, but it made me laugh. That's why I put it in. So let's not dwell on it. And yes, here was something which I've looked at and used. Apple has introduced a new test design for iCloud website. I've gone on it. I quite like it. You get the offer if you log into iCloud on the web, and it says, would you like to try the new beta test? I tried it. I liked it. See what you think.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
Wait.
Was this going to iCloud.com?
Yes.
And okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't. I actually. Here's the weird thing. When I go into work, I go open up Chrome and I open up a series of different tabs.
Yep.
CNN. Apple, not Apple. iCloud, though I end up never being able to use it because I'm usually pretty busy. Amazon, YouTube, and a work-related application. That's all in Chrome.
It's good that you do work. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then I also have Edge browser opened up with all of my Microsoft apps.
Yes.
And of course, you know, depending on what it is I'm trying to do, I'm doing different things. But the last time that I actually went to iCloud.com and did anything there, it's not a great experience.
No, well, I like the new iCloud pages. So give it a go. Go on the beta page.
Okay,
so
I'll have to try it.
So you have to sign into iCloud, and then I think it gives you the option to try the beta pages. Have a look, see what you think.
It's actually been, even though I open up iCloud every single day, it's been like a year since I've actually done anything in iCloud. Well, I think I just do it because you
can't really do a great deal in it anyway, to be honest with you, until they bring the apps, possibly the Office apps to it. Okay, Siri Spy. iOS bug allowed apps to eavesdrop on your Siri conversations before it's been fixed. So Apple has released 16.1 and Ventura. In addition to headlining the new features and changes, there are also an essential security fix as well. One of the most notable ones is the bug that allowed application to eavesdrop on your conversations with Siri.
So lots of cursing by saying, "No, Siri, that's not what I said. Damn you!" Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, with the listeners going,
yeah.
Apple has paused gambling ads in the App Store pages after developers have complained. Now, I don't know whether that's still ongoing or not. I've not seen.
No, don't. Honestly, Apple, if you're listening to this, and we know you do, stop allowing gambling sites to advertise through iOS. That's a terrible idea. I don't care how much money they're giving you. Terrible idea.
Now, listen to the contrary in this next headline.
Okay.
Apple VP Greg Joswiak says metaverse is a word he will never use.
Okay.
But he just used it.
Oh, that's true.
I'm moving on. India has fined Google another...
Couldn't say the M word.
Yeah, couldn't say the M word. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. India has fined Google another 114 million and demands Play open to third-party payments. Watch out, Apple. You're next.
They will be.
Apple iPhone posts remarkable 36% growth in China in Q3. Apple says that United Airlines has saved passengers from 13 million minutes in delays with iPhones and iPads. Now, I think you know that some of the airlines use iPads and iPhones for a lot of their documentation and doing stuff.
Sure.
Well, apparently, Apple at Work website touting a partnership with United Airlines said that United Airlines deployed iPhones and iPads to all of its 85,000 employees, making them fully mobile and empowered to be their most effective. There are some pretty cool statistics on how this partnership has helped employees, passengers, and so much more. Go over to, in fact, I found that on 9to5Mac if you want to read more, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, has it made their 17.5-inch wide seats any more comfortable?
No. What I'd like to ask the question is, but has it saved them, or did it make sure that they were on time in the first place?
Or that they just knew? Well, okay, see, we're saving you time by still delaying your flight, but letting you know ahead of time, or you're at the airport. It's like, you won't be able to board this flight. Oh, thank you. I've saved so much time.
I can sit and have another coffee with my Mac open. Apple has released iOS 15.7.1 with the security updates for iPhone and iPad users who cannot go to the latest version. That's a beta. I don't want to talk about that. Apple reports fourth quarter 2022 results, 20.7 billion profit on a 90.1 billion revenue. I think their results were better than expected, but they are touting, and this was the thing that I was going to be waiting for to listen about, they are touting that the next quarter or quarters could be much lower than
wait a second. We're talking about fiscal year quarter 4 for 2021.
No.
Oh, 2022. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of the new stuff that we've been talking about for the last few weeks was released fiscal year quarter 1, 2023.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But still to my point, there is a lot of issues around the world at the moment, and Apple have released a statement as part of that fiscal statement, and this is what I was waiting to hear about, that things moving forward could be a struggle. And I don't disagree with that. Apple CEO Tim Cook: we're working hard to meet demand for iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Max. We'll wait and see on that one.
Wasn't there reports not that long ago talking about how there was lots of non-demand for the regular iPhone 14?
So we won't know until they actually put a statement out at the next fiscal quarter, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Apparently, Apple has surpassed 900 million paid subscribers as its revenue increases 5% year on year. And I think, yes, I've got it here, actually. Let me skip this one. I'll come back to that report. Apple has posted services revenue, get this guy, of 19.2 billion. Services, right? This is, it encompasses Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, etc., etc. 19.
It's the number 2 revenue generator for Apple. Incredible. After the iPhone.
Incredible. Apparently, though, some Apple stores are to stop selling the first generation Apple Pencil until the USB-C adapter stock has improved.
Just stop selling the first generation Pencil. Make all your devices good with generation 2.
Telegram
Jesus
CEO.
Christ. Sorry.
Yes. Don't blaspheme, young sir.
I know. I'm sorry. I just
go and say 3 Hail Marys now, please. Telegram CEO has accused Apple of destroying dreams and crushing entrepreneurs. I'll move on.
Was that his company, or was he talking about Camo? More on that later.
Apple in the next
or
item.
Eyeglasses.
And the next, will you let me finish? In the next item, Apple stock surges as record earnings distinguished from beleaguered big tech firms. That, my friends, was quite an elongated Gaz's Snippets.